get wet, bitch. Gonna get wet. Spank you with my dick. Gonna get wet. Gonna get wet, bitch. Gonna get wet. Spank you with my dick. Gonna get wet tonight. Gonna get all night long. Gonna get wet all my fucking dog. Gonna get wet like a dirty bitch. Gonna get wet all with my dick. Gonna get wet. Gonna get 1985 with my dick. Too quick. Gonna feel like your ass is in pain. Gonna get wet. Gonna get wet, bitch. Gonna get wet. Spank you with my dick. Gonna get wet. Gonna get wet, bitch. Gonna get wet. Spank you with my dick. Gonna get wet. Gonna get wet, bitch. Gonna get wet. Spank. Gonna get wet. Gonna get wet, bitch. Gonna get wet. Spank you with my dick.
Yeah, let's get wet tonight.
Can you imagine if that was like somebody's first time watching this show? And they were like, what? What is that?
That's a catchy little number there. That's what they'd say.
God, that's fucking...
I need to relearn that. Uncle Bill.
Wanna get wet all night long. It still contains the single greatest lyric of all time, I believe, in my
Garrett
opinion.
is not a fan of that song, and he does not like us talking about turtles from Cannibal Holocaust either.
No, he's not. He's not a fan of our particular type of vulgarity.
But we are all the way live, Uncle Bill. We usually do these shows, these patron review shows, in private. But we're going to use this as a commercial for Dead Pit on Patreon.com.
Which, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, is the best Patreon page that exists in the universe. It definitely is for the amount of content that you can get. You can get hours upon hours of radio shows, music, videos, and anal.
Yeah, you're supplying the anal.
Fuck you.
Because you just enjoy it.
I do. I like having my asshole stuffed like a Thanksgiving turkey. God.
So we got a packed audience in here already. Let's go through and do a little bit of a roll call, Uncle Bill. Joe Bob Tarhill is here. Oh, Curly Jaws is in the house because one of these is his movie, Uncle Bill. Bloody Bible Camp. Motherfucker's been going on about that for months. So
Bloody Bible.
I finally watched it, and we're going to be talking about it. Subjective Perspective Collective, our buddy Dirk, who joined me on the Midweek Obliteration podcast. What's going on, sir? Funtasm is all about, what was the one song? The Black Label Society song? See if I can remember that. You remember that?
I have no fucking idea. Black Label was your thing.
Oh yeah, gonna something.
What?
Gonna have some fun.
I vaguely remember this. Yeah.
Ain't gonna stop until it's done. Oh yeah, gonna have some fun. I say out. Something. Oh, that reminded me.
There
of
were
that
so
song.
many songs, man.
Gonna have some fun. I just got Return of the Living Dead on Blu-ray. Gonna watch it tonight. Loaded with extras. Well, I would have held. I hope you didn't spend a whole lot of money on that. Didn't buy the Scream Factory one because that's one that I'm almost positive at some point in the near future we're going to see that one on 4K.
Yeah, I think that Arrow's going to come out with that one and Fright Night too.
Category 3 and me. What's going on, brother? Stuntman Mark is in the house. Texas HXCX 1965, baby. Not to be confused with 1966.
No.
The Wraith is in the house, Uncle Bill. You have your bucket of KFC for Killer Joe.
Yeah, I'd forgotten all about that scene.
Yeah.
That'd be great to talk about later.
I watched that one with my wife, too. We'll talk about
I
that.
bet she loved it. I bet she... That's a hell of an ending in that, isn't it? Like, I was like, what?
So, category 3 and me. The song's name is Fun. And I think it was like an extras song on... Fuck, what album was that? It wasn't on all the CDs, though. But it was... It's out there. You can probably, like, look on YouTube for it or something.
Was that the one that was on that album called Yeah? Come on.
What's crazy is he came up to Pikeville like last year, and I didn't even go. I mean, I like the music and everything, but like I'm just not down with that fucking crowd, man. Like that's just too wild of a bunch for me. Can't.
Have you been to one of their shows like that? I mean,
well, me and you went to a show.
I know, but I mean, have you been to one like around here? Because I heard stories about the last one they did, or maybe it was the one before the last one they did here. Like a bunch of bikers and shit showed up, and like everybody was on meth, and there was fights and all kinds of shit.
Yeah,
went down. Yeah, I feel like that's not our crowd.
Well, the Whiskey Myers show that I went to, there was 3 fights that broke out in it, and I wasn't expecting that at all. But yeah,
people around here just brother.
They're just wild. Yeah, that's Michael Myers' second cousin.
Whiskey Myers.
Whiskey. Rolling 666. What's up, man? So, yeah, this is the patron review show. Typically, like I said, we do this completely over on Patreon. But I was like, I don't think we're really doing a stream for a little bit. So, and this is a good way to promote the Patreon page. All you cheap motherfuckers out there that have not gotten in on it yet, there's all kinds of exclusive goodies over there. Like this show, we do at least once a month, a review show of some sort. You can listen to me enjoy a peach drink and talk about some movies with Uncle Bill.
And these movies, God, you talk about an eclectic bunch of movies.
It's always like that, though. There's, you know, our buddy Dirk at least wanted to go with the May
of the Dead
theme, which we're doing Burial Ground. That's one he picked.
Yeah, I actually didn't remember a lot of stuff from that movie that I can't wait to talk about.
Well, there's very detailed character development in Burial Ground, Nights of Terror.
Yep. There's a lot of fucking really detailed zombies, too.
Yeah, at first glance, not everybody's going to get, right? Some of the character development that's going on there that's interweaving amongst the group of people at the castle in Venice or wherever the hell they're at.
Yep. There's some real deep, searching character development there for sure.
I'll see it in you shit because we'll talk about it a little bit. I watched this one with Sarah as well, and watching it with her was as entertaining, or maybe more entertaining than the movie itself, just hearing the shit that she said.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty slow movie. Not in terms of like the zombies show up in about like 20 minutes in. So, I mean, it's not, they show up right in the beginning and then like 20 minutes in. So it kind of kicks off quick. But there's long stretches in that movie where not a whole hell of a lot happens, but just people like running around, trying to make out, like shit like that.
Yeah. And I went back and tried to look. I don't know if we've ever really, I know we've talked about this movie numerous times, but I don't think we'd ever actually done a review on it. So, there you go. And I believe still to this day, it's William Friedkin's last movie. I don't think he's ever directed any. It's been 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think he did like a documentary of like an exorcism, like a real exorcism, and that was like the last thing that he did a couple years ago. But he hasn't done any feature films or anything like that since.
So, Killer Joe is another one, a Matthew McConaughey flick, who I tagged Matthew McConaughey on Instagram to see if he would re-tag and get the word out about this show, because we're talking. I'm sure he's really proud of this movie.
Wouldn't that be the fucking best thing ever if he was like, yeah, man.
I love this. I love Killer Joe.
This just killer. I can't do the S's like he does, but I noticed him like so much in this movie, like so much more than any other movie I've ever watched with him, is how he does the S thing.
F, baby.
The list.
He's got the Texas lisp. And then, Oh Curly Jaws. This is a movie that he has hyped up for months and months and months. And just knowing Oh Curly Jaws, I was like, he's fucking with us. He's totally fucking with us. It's called Bloody Bloody Bible Camp. It's directed by the legendary Vito Trabucco.
Right. Yeah.
And stars Reggie Bannister. And it's also from 2012. Bloody Bloody Bible Camp, baby. And he's the only person that I've ever heard mention this movie in the history of the show.
Didn't this come out like 2010? It's like 2009 or 2010. It would have been like when we were heavily doing the show, too.
John Cressup evidently remembers Bloody Bloody Bible Camp, so
yeah.
We will have to see. We either have a bot or a rare 2.5% audience female in here. Susie, bunch of numbers. Hello from Maryland. Good evening, everyone.
I bet that's supposed to be something that we're not aware of what that's supposed to be.
Susie B0079H. We're from Eastern Kentucky. We don't have to get all of it. We don't.
There's not a lot we get, really.
And another person, Cinemurdum Video, really putting Bloody Bloody Bible Camp over. Saw it when they first showed it, Texas Frightmare in 2012. It's really fun with a full house. Ooh, so this is a legit person. Okay, so welcome, Susie. This appeared in the feed and was sold on Burial Ground, Night of Terror, which we will definitely get to that. Which one you want to review first?
It doesn't matter, really. I mean, they're all amazing in their own ways.
Well, since we're already on Bloody Bloody Bible Camp, a couple people... This is in 2012. This completely was over our heads or under the radar, one or the other. We didn't know anything about this until our good friend, Oh Curly Jaws, kept bragging this movie up. And finally decided on Tubi is where it's at to watch, to check this one out. Now, this is a horror, definitely a horror comedy. There's a lot of tongue-in-cheek stuff in this.
I was trying to remember what in the hell was and I can't believe I forgot this, but what was the name of that company that did all those like low budget horror comedies we used to watch back in the day? Are
you talking about Chris Seaver?
Destruction Kings and stuff like that?
Yeah, what was the name of that company? Chris Seaver was the guy's name.
Yeah. But it reminded me of that. Like that's immediately what I thought of when I was watching it. It was like that is the same type of movie.
Yeah, it's kind of maybe a bigger budget version of that because his stuff was like no budget.
Super low budget, yeah.
So if anybody, Chris Seaver, what the hell was the name of his company? I haven't thought of that guy in forever.
Come on, there's a bunch of people on here. Somebody has to know. It was something ridiculous too, but like somebody has to know.
Destruction Kings was the name of the movie.
Yeah, that was like their biggest movie.
Okay. Somebody just Google it for us.
Me nuts. Yeah.
So Jagerbomb 360, what's going on? Splatter Rampage. That was another movie, right? That wasn't the name of the company.
No, it wasn't the name of it. I wish I could think of it.
Somebody will mention it here. Yeah. Google it for us, boys. But yeah, it's definitely his movies were similar to this, over the top gore and blood, and it looked like there were a lot of scenes in this that used legit pig guts or some sort of intestines that they used and reused over and over again. But yeah, this movie starts out in the late 70s, 77, at, what is it called? Happy Day Bible Camp or something like that?
Low budget pictures, that was it.
Low budget pictures. Okay.
Yeah. That should have been easy enough to figure out, but yeah.
Sometimes it's just not that easy. Set in 1977, and there's a killer on the loose, and the killer is dressed up like a nun with some sort of mask. What is it, a devil mask or something like that?
That's what I thought it was, yeah.
It's a sadistic nun. And there's lots of gratuitous nudity and over-the-top gore in that opening segment.
Lots of comedy. Like American Pie style comedy, I guess.
Yeah. And then, what is it? They said it was 5 years later, which would have made it like 1980, 82, 83, something like that. And a new group of kids are coming to Bible camp, this time with Pastor Cummings, played by Reggie the Beast Bannister.
Yep.
And that's your setup, and you've got, and I don't know what it is, why we keep mentioning Cool Duder on these shows, but there's always something in some of these movies that we're reviewing. So the character, like, I guess it's just comedic relief character. It has to be based on Cool Duder. Didn't you think so? I think it's JJ or whatever his name was.
You think so? Or was it just like...
I don't know. The guy acted almost exactly like the what was it, the Murph character?
Yeah, you may be right, yeah. And I guess around that time they were probably like the most popular that they could be. Or would be, yeah.
Yeah,
but,
so it's...
I mean, a lot of this movie just put me in mind of like, we used to watch, for some reason, like a ton of low budget horror comedies, because that's what, like, I guess a lot of people put out at that time. That's what they could afford to make. So we had like all the stuff from I forget all these people's fucking names now, man. It's been so long. But the bald guy,
you're thinking of Kevin Strange.
Kevin Strange, yeah. So we watched all his stuff, which I still think was great, yeah.
Which I talked to Kevin Strange last year. He was at Friday Night Film Fest. It's the first time I'd seen him in probably 7 or 8 years at least.
Yeah, that was a really weird trajectory that took, though. Like, because didn't they start making comics or something for a while?
Started making books for a while, and now, I don't know if he's making new movies, but he's back hawking those movies that he made years ago.
But if anybody out here is a fan of like this style of comedy, like there was a bunch of people doing the same thing that was even lower budget, and I think a lot of it was on par with it, like including hack movies and including low budget pictures and stuff like that. So yeah, check them out too.
There's a lot of like dark humor in this too, with involving, like, I don't know if it's kind of their take on like the Catholic Church or whatever it is, but almost every character in this is like sex driven, like gay character. Like Reggie, he's playing, and his name is Pastor Cummings, and he is reading
not very subtle, is it?
A homosexual porn magazine called Communion. Do you remember this?
Communion, yes, I got that, yeah.
So there's all kinds of little digs, I think, at the Catholic Church and just religion. Can you seriously
think, though, this has only been, if this was 2012, it's only been 10 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could never make anything like this now. Like, not even in this format. Like, you would absolutely get fucking, like, annihilated if you try to do something like this now.
That's true.
There's no way.
I was thinking about that as well, too, because there's definitely some slurs that's said in this that it just is not going to happen today. And so much so that we can't even repeat it on fucking YouTube.
Yeah, I don't even feel safe like reviewing this fucking movie, to be honest, because it's like, you know.
So there's some pretty fun stuff in this. The killer in this, what is it? Sister Mary Chopin? What the hell was her name? Sister Mary Chopper, I think. I can't even read my own writing. Is
It's
the killer
fine.
the killer in this. And played by Tim Sullivan. Who
That's another dude I'd forgotten completely about until this movie.
Yeah, and I was like, what in the fuck is Tim Sullivan even doing? And evidently not a goddamn thing, Uncle Bill. He has not done, he don't have any credits or anything since like 2014. And I even did a search on YouTube. The only thing I've seen from him on YouTube in the last, 10 years is he was at a Kiss convention in 2016. And he's a mega Kiss fan, and he was talking about Kiss. So he's completely went away. I don't know what the hell the deal is with that, but he had a couple of really successful movies. The 2000 Maniacs remake. He did Driftwood, which I thought was really good with Diamond Dallas Page.
That was good. I'd forgot about that movie too.
Yeah. So he's in this as the killer, oddly enough.
These fucking dogs drive me nuts over here.
I'm
Like nowadays, one of them gets started barking outside, and then the other one's a little tiny one in here. It's Princess Puffin starts yapping inside. It's like,
Yeah, because she's the princess. She wants that dog to shut the fuck up.
yeah, you got them dogs in stereo now. But yeah, so Driftwood was amazing actually. Like I'm surprised because he did what 2001 Maniacs, and then
He did a sequel to that.
yeah, he did
I
a
think
sequel. He did something else too though. That,
I don't know.
around that time, but then he just kind of disappeared off the face of the earth.
Yeah, Driftwood is a good one. Like I hadn't thought of him or that movie in forever, but yeah, that's one that you want to seek out. I think Anchor Bay did that a long time ago. And of course, the king of the low budget horror movies around this time period, Ron Jeremy is in this. He's making his cameo as Jesus.
I can't fucking stand Ron Jeremy. That was the biggest thing to do back then.
Yeah.
Like around that time period, from like the early 2000s to the mid 2000s, like 2010s, just have him in your movie, like cameos and all that stuff. And it's just I cannot stand to see that guy.
I know. He even had his own, what was it, some butcher movie or something like that? He had his own.
Oh
horror
yeah, he
movie.
did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like
Jake the Butcher or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a piece of shit. But the gore is over the top in this, and they do some crazy, like, sick Andre the Butcher, there you go.
Yeah, yeah.
It sucked. There's this one scene where a dude gets stabbed while he's taking a dump, and the killer smears shit all over him afterwards.
That's right.
And
That's the kind of movie that you're dealing with, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the level that we're at here. I'm curious though, did you like this movie?
I'm not going to say it's one that I would go back and watch, but I was kind of surprised in that it at least kept me, like I was interested in seeing what the hell they were going to do in it next.
Yeah, I mean it was entertaining, and I love like movies like that. I'm not gonna lie, like I was a huge horror comedy person, even around that time. Like loved all that stuff that we talked about earlier, and this just fits into that pretty perfectly. Honestly, like that whole subgenre where people were making low budget films like that, I was always a fan of it for some reason. I think the kind of pinnacle of that in our era anyway was Piranha. Like the Piranha kind of like had like a budget and tried to do the same thing that all those movies were trying to do on a much like lesser scale. Like, and then I think after that it just kind of like that whole subgenre disappeared.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a product of its time. I'm surprised that we hadn't heard about it beforehand. 2012, yeah, there was a ton of these little to no budget, which, I mean, this one was well made. I don't think that it was like, it definitely was a higher budget than like Chris Seaver or Kevin Strange's stuff. Like, I don't know who released this because we watched it on fucking Tubi. But the director of this, what the hell was his name? Vito
Vito
Labrasso?
Scarluzzi. Yeah.
Vito Trabocco. Bloody Bible Camp 2012. The character I was talking about, though, that reminded me of our good friend Cool Duder was JJ. And I just wanted to repeat his quote in this because he's like the fat, nerdy, like straight Christian guy that everybody makes fun of.
Yeah.
And the guys are picking on him and they flick him in the balls, and he supposedly suddenly gets a stiffy, Uncle Bill, a woody, if you will, a hard on.
Boner.
And the quote was, let me get it here: "Jesus, please take my sinful boner away." That's what he was praying.
There was somebody else. This is completely off topic of what we were talking about, but since we were talking earlier about kind of these people that make all these cameos in these movies and stuff, especially around that time period, I was watching a movie the other day. I cannot remember what it was, and all of a sudden, do you remember fucking Harry? I think his name was Harry Knowles.
Yeah,
From,
Ain't It Cool News?
Ain't It Cool? Like, he showed up and I was like, my God, man, that's a product of the 2000s, like the early 2000s is that guy. Like, he was
Ain't
like...
It Cool News is still around, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if he has anything to do with it. Like, I don't ever hear about him or anything like that anymore. Hell, he may have died. I don't have any idea, but, like, he was in all these cameos around that time in these movies like that, and I'm just like, God, man. Like, what the fuck was anybody doing in the early 2000s? Like, just awful movies and these cameos and stuff.
Yeah. So, that is Bloody Bible Camp. What do you give it, Uncle Bill? Oh, Lord.
I give it 4 Princess Puffins.
4 out of 5 Princess Puffins.
Yes.
I gotta say, I was a little surprised with it. I wasn't expecting much of anything from it. And no offense to Curly Jaws. I mean, it's just, when it comes to stuff that he recommends, 9 times out of 10, it's not anything that we're going to enjoy. He might love it, which is fine. But I kind of liked it. I didn't, I didn't think it was too bad. Over the top, crazy offensive, and, just, I didn't think it was really that funny, aside from the Cool Duder character. But, I mean, it was fine for what it was. I didn't want to turn it off. I wasn't, like, checking to see, oh, shit, how much long was left in it,
That is one good thing about those movies, though. The horror comedy movies like that. They were always super short, and they always were, like, fast-paced. Like, everything was, like, jammed into the movie. Like, and it never really got boring.
Harry Knowles is still alive, by the way. He's in Austin, Texas, according to Cinemurdum Video. Which one do you want to do next there in the Uncle Bill pet store?
Hold on one second. One second.
You know what I was thinking is, I was like, Princess Puffins has been crazy quiet over the last 4 or 5 shows that we did. What in the hell's going on? Did he give Princess Puffins away? But now I know the answer. She's still around.
I think that worked.
Are you giving her some Benadryl?
Yeah, I'm lacing her dog food with Benadryl right now as we speak.
Shut the fuck up, you know.
Shut your mouth, I'll give you melatonin.
Ball flicking boners. Grab your copy today.
Oh my God, these motherfuckers. I'm just going to lose my fucking mind here shortly. Let's do Killer Joe next, since...
Speaking of Cool Duder real quick, Ghostface 320 brought it up. So, like, he does these out and about videos, right? That's all he does. Like, that's kind of what he's known for. Going and picking, the DVD Tuesdays or whatever. And I didn't watch the video or nothing, but evidently there was only like one movie that came out this Tuesday. And he, like in the, the picture.
He bought like 5 of them or something?
The picture that he does where he's like.
Yeah.
He's holding up the DVD, the Blu-ray, and the 4K of all the same movie. Like, oh my God, I found all fucking 3 different ones. This is so shocking. There ain't nothing else that come out this week.
I think times have probably gotten pretty hard for him at this point, like trying to make that gimmick still work.
That's true, because the physical media game, man, mainstream-wise, is, I mean, it's going, by the week almost. Sections getting smaller and smaller.
I still think, though, that Vinegar Syndrome's the only thing that's going to keep that moving. Is how many people are kind of marking out for them still. And Arrow.
Well, I mean, it's a different crowd, though. Most of that stuff, aside from FYE, you're not going to find that shit in any store. So it's like, as far as the massive amount, quantities of stuff being sold, those days is over with, I think. Even for mainstream.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
definitely in terms of like the quantity and things like that. Hell, a lot of these places, like Don May was talking about it, like, nowadays a low run, like a limited release, is like 2,000, 1,500, something like that. Back then it was like 20,000, 30,000, something.
That was limited.
It's just a completely different kind of market now.
Yep, they had so many ways to sell shit. So what did you say, Killer Joe?
Killer Joe, yeah.
Okay.
Which I really like this movie, going back and watching it again, because I hadn't seen it since we first watched it, which would have been, 2012?
I don't think I ever watched it before. I don't remember.
I know I did, because I remembered it.
I think I remember you talking about it and saying I needed to check it out.
It's not a typical, like, horror movie. I don't know, like, if we reviewed it on the show or not. Like, I think we got it, though, for review, because I don't think I would have bought that movie otherwise.
Probably. I mean, you may have done, like, and I'm starting to put these on the Patreon page, too, the written reviews. You remember when we used to do those?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I found almost all of those that we ever did, starting way back in 2005. And the interesting thing is, the first ones that we did in, like, the summer of 2005 was on the old Horror Graphs page. We did some movie reviews on there before, pre-Dead Pit shit.
Yeah, I think that was the beginning of the beginning right there. But Killer Joe, this is one of those movies, along with Bug, that I saw both of those before I really even knew anything about William Friedkin. So it's like, going back and watching them now, like, I kind of can understand more about, like, I know more about how he was as a director and what he was trying to do than I did back then when I was just watching it, just to be watching it. But this movie, this should get a lot more recognition than what it does. It's not a horror film. It's not, I don't even know what you would classify it as, really.
Well, originally, wasn't Killer Joe was it a novel or a play or something like that?
It was some sort of play. Yeah.
And you can totally see how it would work very well as a play, because of just it's basically all acting. There's nothing really, that gruesome in it. There's no real action or anything in it. It's all like character-driven kind of storytelling, really. Yeah.
And it just really, it centers around a very basic plot, which is that this guy needs to come up with $6,000 to pay off these bikers who are going to, like, kill him, basically, if he doesn't. And so they come up with this idea, which is they'll hire this guy who, I think it was the dude's mom's boyfriend told him about, that his name's Killer Joe, and he apparently does hits. He's like a hitman. They'll hire him. He'll come in, and then this guy's mother has a $50,000, they think, life insurance policy, and none of them are a fan of the mother, apparently. And so they'll collect the insurance policy, pay Killer Joe off, and then he'll have the money. That's the basic plot of the whole movie, really.
Right. And then the Gina Gershon is in this. I didn't know who the fuck she was at first. I was like, I recognize her.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's aged a little bit, but we all do, Uncle Bill. I think in her younger days, she's one of the sexiest women that's ever fucking lived. But not everybody can hang on to that like we can, right? Over
Right.
the years.
Do you remember Bound?
Bound.
I'm pretty sure she was in that with Jennifer Tilly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you should check out Bound.
I may have seen that.
You haven't seen that.
And so, like, McConaughey is Killer Joe, the hitman, the hitman or whatever.
Right.
And Emil Hirsch is the guy that owes the debt, plays Chris. And they work out a deal. He's wanting to hire Joe to kill his mom to get her collect on her life insurance policy, but he has no money, so he can't pay him any sort of advance on it.
Right.
So Joe has an attraction to Chris's sister, Dottie, who I can't say I blame him. I mean, we kind of get to see everything from every female in this whole, in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Every inch. So Dottie and Joe kind of have a thing going on as well. And it all leads up to, Joe's wanting to take Dottie with him, and then Chris is kind of like, no. And it leads up towards the end to just one of the craziest fucking things that I've ever seen in a movie. And that I cannot believe Matthew McConaughey agreed. Mainstream actor. Now, he's still a mainstream actor. He was nominated for an Academy Award since then.
Right.
Maybe won an Academy Award. I can't even remember.
I can't either. I think he did for something, but I don't know.
So the whole deal is the life insurance policy thing doesn't work out, and Joe doesn't get his money. Chris doesn't get his money, so they're both kind of screwed. Now Joe, and this sets up the scene towards the end of the movie.
Yeah,
kind of goes off on all of them. And there's a deal where Gina Gershon's character, I don't think I have it here, is the one that's trying to screw everybody out of the money, as we find out.
Yeah.
And they're getting ready to have a bucket of KFC dinner, Uncle Bill. And who would have ever thought we would have got to what we got to in Killer Joe? I don't know how they got away. Even, this wasn't a theatrical movie. I think it was originally supposed to be. But there was no goddamn way they were playing that in a movie theater. No way.
No. Yeah, I mean, I actually thought that the whole kind of unraveling part of it, where you find out like what was actually going on and everything, was really, really cool. And
Brian Goes Blue says, Killer Joe makes me crave chicken wings. Yeah. As long as it's the chicken wing and not the leg,
yep,
you're good.
So I had remembered when I was watching this movie that there's a scene in the movie that was totally fucked up. But I didn't remember what it was at all. And then it got to that and I was like, oh yeah, that's it. So like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. Do you want to explain that, or do you want me to explain, or do you want to just like let people watch it and fully experience?
Let people go watch it.
Yeah.
Because this is a movie that, a lot of people talk about it. And it was released. Did Lionsgate release it back probably 10 years ago on DVD? And
yeah.
It is on Blu-ray as well. And it's never referenced at all. And I had never seen the movie up until recently. So this is one our good buddy Carter Denshin picked this movie for the Patreon review show this month. And
I gotta say too that McConaughey is probably the best part of this movie. Like, he acted his ass off. Like, he did a really, really good job. And so is it's got a really good cast. You've got Gina Gershon, and then who is the guy that's the dad? He's really well known too, but I can't think of his name.
3 names. I know he has 3 names.
He's really good in it.
Let's see if I've got that here. No, I didn't put it. He's been in all kinds of shit, though.
Yeah. Can't believe I can't think of his name.
It's something like Thomas Hayden Church. That's it.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really, really well acted. Like you said, it's almost like... It's almost
There
like
he
a
is.
play in that it takes place in like maybe one or two central kind of locations throughout the movie. Very similar to Bug if you think about it. Like Freakin' must have had a hard on for stuff that just like was in a couple like one or two spots, like almost like a play kind of feeling to both those movies.
So I think we both highly recommend this movie, but is it a movie that you need to buy? Uncle Bill? What do you
No,
think?
I don't. Well, I don't know, man. It was better than I remembered it being. Maybe it's just where I've gotten older and kind of can appreciate like slower.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a
Movies like
movie that
that.
you're going to go back and rewatch a whole lot. That's the only thing with it. It's a beautifully made movie. It's very well made. All the acting was great in it, and like you were saying, Matthew McConaughey, he's a fucking killer actor. Like pretty much anything that he's ever been in, he does a great job in.
Yeah, I mean, you totally felt like threatened by him in this movie. Like he would do just about anything to anybody in the movie. Like that's just, and he's so just insane and quirky, and kind of reminds you of like Dennis Hopper's character in Blue Velvet or something like that. Just like that unhinged, kind of sexualized character.
Didn't you almost think though that his performance in this movie and it kind of outshined everybody else?
Yeah,
Like
it
there was
did.
nobody else on that level, and you could totally tell.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's absolutely true. Everybody else did good, but like he just brought it up a notch.
This is a movie I haven't talked about in a long time either. Our good friend Ash Williams, Ashley, Ash for short. Do you guys like Bubba Hotep?
Oh, I love that movie. It's another Coscarelli movie that doesn't get any like credit at all, but totally should.
Yeah. I really like that movie a lot too. I would like to go back and I've got it on DVD. I don't think I bought the Scream Factory release, but yeah, that's one that I wouldn't mind revisiting at some point.
What happened on that movie, by the way? Something happened with Bruce Campbell and Coscarelli.
I'm not sure.
I can't remember what it was, but they don't really like each other anymore for some reason. And I don't something to do with the sequel. Somebody on here probably knows that more than I do. I just remember hearing something where they tried to work out something with a sequel to that movie and it didn't work out, and then somehow or another it like caused some sort of chaos between them.
If Dirk is a big fan of Blue Velvet, yeah, he would enjoy Killer Joe quite a bit. I mean, it's the same sort of dark, like character-driven
Yeah,
stuff.
it is. It's very, very much like that. Yeah.
So yeah, Killer Joe, you can get it fairly cheap as well. I think it's just one of those basic Lionsgate DVDs or Blu-rays. Which reminded me, I picked up, and I was curious about this too because the odds in this getting re-released probably not very good. And the Pumpkinhead sequels, you remember the shitty Pumpkinhead sequels from Sci-Fi Channel or whatever?
Yeah.
Those are worth like a lot, like because I was
Really?
like, yeah, and I was like,
God.
I have one of them, I think.
Yeah, I've got a
And
couple of them.
And then I have the first, like I think it's part 4, Return of the Living Dead. So I was like, I want to see how much the other one is. If it's cheap enough, I want to get it just so I can complete I'll have all the Return of the Living Dead movies. I shit you not, man. It had a coupon with it. It was 4 case or something like that, empty
Just-
Blu-ray case.
Yeah, yeah. So I love freaking stuff anyway, but I'd forgotten how good this movie was, and it was really good, so I highly recommend it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it too. It's an odd movie, and most of Friedkin's movies are kind of odd in that way. But like Bug is another one that you mentioned. Like that one came out of nowhere.
I'd like to watch that again because I remember hating that movie just because like I didn't know, like when you hear a movie like that and the way the trailers were set up and everything, like you thought it was going to be about killer insects and things like that. But that's not what the movie was about at all, and I
No.
really hated it when it came out. But I'd like to see it again.
Yeah, it was another like, and he's big on that character study type deal, with
Yeah.
his movies. So Killer Joe, yeah, and I think movies like this is why I enjoy doing these review shows because the odds of me actually voluntarily going and watching something like this, very, very slim. Like,
Yeah.
I probably never would have watched this movie. So, yeah, and it was very enjoyable, well done. William Friedkin. Hopefully he can make another movie. Yeah, so check that one out.
Robert Long brings up The Guardian. I actually love that movie. That's a movie that we never ever talked about on the show, but like I marked out for that movie when I was a kid. I used to watch it like all the time. Had no idea again that freaking had anything to do with that, but like it's like a supernatural Hand That Rocks the Cradle movie.
Yeah, that was one that I'm sure I've seen it, but I never have owned it because wasn't that one that Anchor Bay brought out that was like out of print forever and it went for like huge money at one time or
Yes,
something?
yeah, it was. Yeah.
One other movie I wanted to mention to you because I hadn't talked to you about it that we had never ever reviewed on the show, and you'll never believe this, but it's true because I went back and checked. Night of the Living Dead 90, Uncle Bill. We never ever reviewed that one on the show.
That's fucking nuts. Like I
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, but you're right. I don't remember ever like talking about it or even anything like
We
that.
were talking about this. Dirk, that was one of the movies that he mentioned on the MWO podcast, and we talked about it. Physical releases of that is very, very few and far between. The DVD of that came out in 99 and was kind of like a bare bones. I think it may have had a commentary or something like that on it, which is weird that they would do that. And then Twilight Time did the Blu-ray, and then really nothing else. I think there's like an overseas Blu-ray or
Yeah, there's
whatever.
something from Umbrella or one of those companies like that. Yeah. But that's honestly one of my favorite remakes, I guess you would say. And I watched the video that you did with Dirk, and you mentioned that, you know, there wasn't a lot of remakes around that time, and there really wasn't. Like, that wasn't even like an acceptable thing at that time. The only other one that I could have thought of was The Blob, which came out around the same time, like we've been 88 or something like that, and I think Night of the Living Dead was 90. So it's like, you know, those were the ones that were like the only ones I can remember that were that close together. But Night of the Living Dead remake is one of my favorite movies, favorite horror movies, honestly, just because of Tony Todd. My God.
Tony Todd, oh God, by God.
Yeah.
Dan Shine is in the house. What's going on, man? I still have my DVD. Yeah, I thought the DVD did have a commentary on it of Night 90. So that's one though that I think I'm shocked actually that Scream Factory hasn't tried to do a special edition of that because they've done every other fucking zombie movie in the last 25, 30 years. They've done a commentary.
Yeah, I don't know
on
what the rights issue is with that right
releasing
now, or
it.
who has that right now.
No idea. But the last one up, I actually do have a physical copy of this. And
I do too somewhere.
I've got a couple of them actually. I've got the DVD over there as well. But this is from our good friends over at Bad Gateway Films. I'm sorry, Severin Films. They did a special edition Blu-ray of Burial Ground, aka Nights of Terror. And this one's from 1980. Only 85 minutes long, and it's 85 fun minutes, Uncle Bill. I'm just going to say that. It'd been a little while since I'd seen this. This is one of those films that we did do a commentary over live at the Friday Night Film Fest show years and years ago. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Joe in there? Wasn't
I'm
that
sure he was, yeah.
Okay.
And he's probably shitting all over Michael Felster or somebody. Like that was his gimmick back then, which is both like hilarious and, you know, kind of, what would you say, like awkward at the same time when he would do that?
But we've seen this numerous times. I don't know if we ever did I didn't look this one up if we ever did an actual review on this, but we've
not
talked
sure
about
either.
it so many fucking times over the years. And it's one of those movies there's a lot of these that is made in Italy. It's not even really a movie. I mean, it's really not.
No, it's like I was watching it, I was like, wow, like they really just strung a bunch of shit together and called it a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what is it? Maybe 10 minutes and then the rest of it is they're just fucking running from zombies the entire time.
So you got the opening, which is just the dude that sets up the whole rest of the movie, where the dude has like find some sort of fucking, what is it, crystal or something like that.
Father
and then,
Time.
Yeah, and then
scientist.
like all the zombies come back to life, and then you got all these couples that go out to the mansion to kind of like, figure out what his discovery was.
They're checking out the castle, and there's some jazz music that plays.
Right, and from that point on, the whole movie is seriously just each couple trying to find a place to bang, and zombies like interrupting them. That's the whole rest of the fucking movie, and then them running around like trying to get away from the zombies.
I try to take notes on some of these movies when I'm watching them, just shit that I notice, and I put down here, it's basically a group getting together in the country for a weekend of sex with really dumb people.
That's right. That's basically it. And the part that got me about this movie that I did not remember, like, I don't know why, like, we've seen this movie a bunch of times, but for some reason, is how much of a fucking, like, rip-off of Fulci Zombie it is. Like, everything pretty much, like, it's like a lower budget rip-off of Zombie. You got the glass in the eye scene rather than the fucking, wood in the eye scene. You've got the thing where they hit the zombies with rocks and their heads, like, bust open and all the stuff comes out. Just
Mud
exactly
comes out of.
like, yeah. But like whoever was doing it, what was his name?
Gino De Rossi.
No, not the makeup. The director, like Bianchi or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So anyway,
Andrea Baklava.
Yeah.
We want some mud when they get shot.
Yeah. Well, she says she doesn't even remember. There is really no plot. Like, it's just one scene after another.
Like the guy in the beginning, the Father Time guy, literally, like, he takes a chisel and hammers on something like 3 times, and then here's zombies.
Yeah, that's right.
There they are. He doesn't really break anything open or nothing. And then you just pretty much fast forward to this group of really fucking dumb Italian people getting together, and the zombies almost immediately start chasing them, and that's what it is the entire movie. Now, the look of the zombies, and Susie mentioned it here, and Gino, the makeup on a lot of these look really freaking good. They look way better than they should for as terrible as this movie is. And when I'm saying terrible, I'm talking about just in the best fucking way possible, because it's like, it's almost Troll 2 level in a certain way. Like, it's just so freaking, like, bizarre and bad at the same time. And one thing that I noticed, like, I always...
We're very dry looking. Like, I swear to God, I thought all the zombies looked like Jason from Part 8. Like, every one of them. Is that look?
Pioneers get the address. Yeah,
yeah, they look
they
very
all had
dehydrated.
they have like burlap gowns on and shit too, which does make a little bit of sense towards the end of the movie.
Yeah,
but still, God bless. I mean, seriously, I understand they're zombie monks or whatever, but I guess that was their get around from it. Did you notice the zombie that had the Boris Karloff Frankenstein mask on, and they just dressed it up and tried to make it look a little bit different?
They just fucked with it, like tried to kind of not make it so obvious, but you could tell they weren't working with a lot of budget on this movie. Like, I don't know what it was, but what the budget was or anything like that, but it had to be really, really low, because like I said, like, the budget for Zombie was pretty low, but I mean, Zombie is like fucking, amazing in terms of cinematography and effects as compared to this movie. Mm-hmm. And then the only thing that anybody ever really remembers about this movie is fucking Peter Bark.
Yeah. And Dirk's got it there. He knows.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's Peter Bark, and it's much like the fucking kid from Amityville, The Evil Escapes, too. Where you're like, I mean, that could be a kid, but I don't think so. There's something. And he was like 20 years old. Wasn't necessarily a midget. I don't think you're allowed to use that word anymore. That offends him. But wasn't exactly a little person. But he was, there was something going on there. He's just a really, really short guy. Right?
I guess, I don't know if he had some sort of disorder or what the deal was, but he just looked very, very young. But also he had that look too where you, like you were saying, you're kind of looking at him and you're like, something is wrong here. This is not that's clearly not a child. Yeah.
No. And he's got this bizarre fascination with his mother in this. His mother does have a nice set of tits. I mean, I'm not going to lie. So he's got a mommy complex. And there's a scene in this too where he's literally making out with his mom.
Yeah, I'd kind of forgotten that part of it.
Yeah.
Where there's a weird, incestuous relationship with him. Because they're literally, before all this shit goes down, at the end, they're literally making out and shit just out of the blue for no... I'm like, what? Who writes that into a script? You know what we should do? Have him kiss his mother.
He looks like a little boy.
You know how that's done. You get the mother and the kid and they make out and later on they're titty biting.
Dan said that Phil Fondacaro wanted to fight him one time for using the M-bomb in a comment about a wrestling event. Huh. Phil Fondacaro, boys. I hope he's got a black belt or something. He ain't going to be able to, seriously, little fella.
What the fuck?
You don't want, he shouldn't be picking fights with anybody as small as he is. Right? You think so?
Very true.
I think Princess Puffins could take Phil Fondacaro.
Well, Susie brings up a good point, talking about they used him because you can't at that time you couldn't have a child in particularly sexual or gory movies or anything like that, and
well, and you could work he's technically an adult, so he could work longer hours and everything too.
Yeah,
and you can't have a little kid making out with a full-grown woman and rubbing her vagina and her breath.
I have a question about that, though. What do you think her opinion of this movie was? When they told her what was going to happen in this movie, do you think she was just oh, yeah, that sounds awesome. Make out with this child.
Oh, we have to do it.
I can't do a female Italian voice. All of them sound the same. Yeah, it's a good idea.
The breast munching scene.
Uh-huh.
So let's set this up, okay? There's only a handful of them left, 3 or 4 of them left, including little Peter Bart. And he's making out with his mom, and he's like, oh, hey, and whoever's doing the voice of Peter Bart too makes it even more fucking.
It does.
Yeah. Oh, Mammy, you remember when I was real close and I used to get milk from your boobie or whatever he said,
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. And she kind of rejects him and then smacks him or something, right? Doesn't she smack him? And then he runs off to, the jowls of the zombies and becomes a zombie a little bit later on in the movie. And then I wonder, how did you explain her death scene to how did that happen to the actress, the director, one of the producers, or something like that? Here's what we got in mind.
Yeah.
This is what we had planned.
Listen, he's going to act like he's sucking your titty, but he's going to bite it off. And John Crisp said, this is probably the greatest thing I've ever read in my life in any comment. Says, she just saw this and was like, why I don't think of the titty biter? God damn it.
He's probably he watched that in the theater in Rome and got pissed off and said, who's mad for 2 weeks?
Exactly.
Fuck it.
Oh, God. But
I love this movie though, man. I really do. Like, I mean, is it good?
No.
No. But fuck, it's fucking entertaining.
It's like some sort of weird ass combination of like Troll 2 with like Tombs of the Blind Dead or something. Like, just a insane.
Do you
Like,
remember,
I don't think
though,
it's supposed to be funny, but it is like hilarious.
here's the thing too that I miss about, and sometimes you can. Very rarely though, because the internet is just you've heard about every fucking movie going. But back in the day when Shriek Show released, I think it was 2005, 2006, they released this on DVD, and this was around that time when we were buying every fucking. It may have been before 2006, I don't know. We were buying every Italian horror movie we could find. So these zombie box sets that they were Shriek Show was coming out with, we bought I think there was like 3 of them. We bought all 3 of them, watched every movie in it. And the first time that we watched this, I was like, I just fell in love, Uncle Bill. So if you guys have not seen this, this is a high recommendation.
Somebody brought this up too, and it's 100% true. Carter Redemption. This is a movie made for old Curly Jaws. There's no way he would
That's
not
true.
like
Is he
this
still
movie.
in here? I don't know if he's still here or not, but yeah, he would love that.
So Rambo didn't like it, I guess. It says he obliterated it. But I don't know, man.
I don't know if Rambo. Yeah, I don't know if he's a big Italian horror fan.
This is not a movie really to be taken seriously. Like, oh, speaking of which, if nobody's ever check this out because this was one of the. Would love to know some backstory behind this too. But back in the day when we were doing the show, there was a female, one of the very first female YouTubers that I ever knew that did anything to do with horror, whose name was Miko Macabre, who did a review of this fucking movie. Like a video kind of thing. It has to be one of the very first things like that, where she's doing like the horror host.
It was. It was one of the very, very early scripted YouTube shows.
Yeah, which was amazing to watch. It still holds up, by the way.
Her stuff's still on YouTube, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can still find it. I can't remember, like, it's not under her account now, though. It's under somebody else's account, but, like, it's still on there. And, like, I'm amazed, though, man, that she didn't, like, try to pursue that or something, because she could have been, like, the major YouTubers that are out now, if she would have stuck with that format.
Yeah. Well, she looked great, and she just naturally knew her shit.
Yeah, it was
It wasn't a gimmick.
Like a natural evolution of Elvira, really.
Elvira.
Bop, meow, meow.
Elvira. So, that is the Burial Ground, Night of Terror. And on this Blu-ray, they actually do have a Q&A from probably 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. Called Peter Still Lives, with Peter Bark, who looks just like an old man now, a little old man. But you can totally tell it's him.
I'm going to have to watch that just to see what the hell he says about that movie.
And his voice is way different than what it is in the movie.
What did he say? Did you watch it?
Well, you had to read it. He's fucking Italian,
okay.
So I didn't want to read subtitles. So, but yeah, I may go back and watch it.
Yeah, I don't know how to describe Burial Ground, really. It's not describable. You just need to watch it.
Yeah, I think if anybody out there, especially old Curly Jaws, which he might have passed out, I'm not really sure. Yeah, he's a big fan of New York Ripper and Zombie and stuff like that. Burial Ground will be right up his alley.
Yep.
And there's some cool shots in Burial Ground. I mean, there really is. Oh, he's still in here. He gives Sand Shark 9 out of 10. Really good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good.
So yeah, that is the review show. These are typically like an hour long usually, but if anybody has anything in here, you can go right ahead and we will talk about it if you want to. Dan says, I got to see Burial Ground at a retro drive-in screening a few years back. And Dan, his channel is also one of the channels that's up for YouTuber of the Month. So if you like his shit, go over there on Garrett's page and go vote. Did want to mention that.
There are a lot of really, really talented people that are up for that, though. Like, I've been watching a lot of the channels that Garrett nominated. And I would have probably not watched a lot of that stuff had he not, or even known a lot of those people or anything. But some of that stuff is really great. Oh, yeah. San Giacomo.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever watch The Sadness yet, you piece of trash?
I have not. Not as of yet.
Motherfucking...
I don't have Shudder. So I need to get Shudder and watch it, and then we might do a review before the end of
the Dead.
I'll tell you something I did watch recently, though. It's a high recommendation, especially if you're a fan of slasher movies. My review is up for Girls Not Out.
Girls Not Out, only gonna go to town.
If you ever wanted to see a slasher movie with a, life-size teddy bear attacking people with steak knives on his paw,
I told you about this fucking movie like probably close to a year ago.
Well, the Blu-ray just now came out.
It's one of the
I'm trying to limit my
movies.
DVD purchases.
True, very true. You got to in this day and age. Did you ever buy or pre-order Tenebrae?
No, not yet. I'm waiting for that one to go on sale.
Shit, better go on sale soon. I ain't paying $65 for it.
There's two different versions though. There's a limited edition one,
right?
But it's just a different cover. So who fucking gives a shit? I don't care about shit like that.
I'll tell you who gives a shit. A bunch of fucking Vinegar Syndrome marks. That's who gives a shit.
Well, they're fucking stupid.
Oh my god!
They were convinced to go buy Gates of Hell 2 on Blu-ray, and they did because they're fucking dumb.
This one's called Through the Fire. Wink, wink.
Oh, it's not Gates of Hell 2. This is a Through the Fire cut.
Well, Dawkins did that song. No, it's Into the Fire.
Into the fire.
I'm falling.
Oh, let's see. What do we got here? Something about a Horror Hall of Fame tomorrow. Yeah, The Sadness, though, hopefully we can review that before the end of May of the Dead. And I might just see if I can get a free month of Shudder to check that out.
You know what we need to watch for May of the Dead?
What?
All of the Day of the Dead sequels and remakes.
Well, since I've got Return of the Living Dead 4 and 5 coming, maybe we should do them.
Let's just do all of it together. We'll do Day of the Dead Contagion. We'll do fucking Day of the Dead, whatever, the Reckoning or whatever that new one was. That came
I know
out.
what we could do. Here's what we could do. Okay? I've come up with a name for it and everything. One show, boys. All reviews. We're going to call it Day of the Doodlesons.
Doodle. The Doodlesons.
We're going to review every shitty fucking movie they produced.
Oh my god, that would be fucking brutal to do that. I would actually do it though. That'd be great.
That's like torture. Creepshow 3, man.
The Day of the Dead. Aren't they the ones who did the Day of the Dead where fucking Bubba's like a vegetarian or something like that?
Yeah, they did Day of the Dead Contagion too. That was theirs. And all the Day of the Dead, the other Day of the Dead movies, I think they produced those too. Oh, Curly Jaws would love that show.
Subjective Perspective Collective says Joe Bob has been sucking this. I actually kind of agree with that. I don't think he's been sucking, but the movies that he's been picking for that shit, the last 4 or 5 have been pretty awful. Like, I'll say that. They're not, like, he doesn't need to be doing movies like that. That's not his gimmick.
I don't understand. Didn't he do a Friday the 13th special and there was no Friday the 13th?
They can't get Friday the 13th, though, because of the rights issues and stuff. Like,
then don't do a fucking Friday the 13th special. Oh.
Listen, Gary, I didn't say shit about Black Roses. That one was killer. Like, that was a good show. I'm just saying, like, Little Girl Lives Down the Lane, Housebound, What were the two he did before that? Because they both suck too. Like, it's just not. You just don't. He's not the guy to do movies like that. Juan San Giacomo just sent you a 30-day free trial, you asshole. Now watch it.
Sweet. And I don't even have to put a credit card in? I need to see the little girl down the lane.
Yeah.
Because I'm a creepy pedophile.
This shit got dark as fuck in here. I'm getting out of here.
That's
I'm gonna pull a
Steve-
Garrett
that's
and just
Steve's
fucking
song.
stone face it.
I'm kidding, boys.
I honest to God, though, don't understand how Garrett keeps his shit together with some of the shit that is said. Like, he's
Garrett,
really good at.
The surefire way to piss Garrett off is you start making fun of that turtle that got decapitated in Cannibal Holocaust. And he fucking gets mad. He gets mad as a wet hen when you start doing like, oh, where's my fucking head?
As a wet hen.
Ah!
Oh,
And it's not funny. It really isn't.
where's my fucking head? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Like, goddamn, somebody help me.
Oh, God. Oh.
I think we have to talk Garrett into doing a commentary, watching that again. I think that needs to be done.
We need to have some sort of contest or something. If he loses, he has to watch it.
I think I figured it out. He's a big Ninja Turtles fan, so he's thinking
Yeah,
that
that makes sense.
poor old Donatello is the turtle that's getting decapitated.
Ghost Shark with Cool Duder.
I try my best to not look at
Yeah.
Cool Duder at all.
If I know that, Festus is going to be in anything, I don't fucking watch it. Oh. That fucking skullet.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do. I can't grow no fucking hair on the top of my head either. But I damn sure I ain't going to have a fucking horseshoe hairdo with shit hanging down. I can't do that. At least cut it short. Motherfucker.
So here's Garrett's list, right? Here's the video nasties from Garrett.
Okay.
He won't do Cannibal Ferox. He won't do Cannibal Holocaust. He won't do Ebola Syndrome, Salo, or Serbian film. I can completely agree with Serbian film.
What about Salo? Are you just
I
not a-
wish that I had never seen Salo, but I mean I have twice now, to be honest. But
I don't like the animal cruelty either. But here's the thing. If I want to watch Cannibal Holocaust, I'm going to watch the actual movie. I don't want to watch any sort of like... That's a product of its time. Back in it was definitely offensive back in 1980. But there wasn't all these PETA and all these companies around that were protective of animals in. So, I mean... And the same thing goes for all kinds of other movies and stuff. Like people try to edit, like they edited the Confederate flag out of Dukes of Hazzard and shit like that. Like what? Really? Anybody that would have really offended died a long fucking time ago. Wouldn't you think so, Uncle Bill?
I'm not even getting involved in this conversation. There ain't no way in hell you'll pull me into this.
I'm just saying.
They did throw a real dead hamster in the fire, and the little girl that lives down the lane, so don't watch that either.
When they cut up a snake in Friday the 13th.
They
So
did.
Garrett?
Yeah.
Garrett, you can't watch that either, man.
Yep. I need to watch Ebola Syndrome, though. People keep referencing that shit, and I've got it and just have never watched it.
I'm with you, Douglas. I would never hurt a little animal. I'm just saying though, that poor turtle that got decapitated 43 years ago or however long ago it was, in a way, he's the most important turtle of all time. So look at it that way. His life was one of them. His life, cutting the poor little feller's head off, saved thousands and thousands of other turtles in Papua New Guinea or wherever the hell they were at from being obliterated.
Yeah, he's the fucking Martin Luther King Jr. of turtles. He's the most important turtle that ever lived. Oh, God.
Ebola syndrome is messed up, Jack Frost says. I believe they prepared a frog in the film, if I remember correctly. Well, they have frog legs at Peking down here, so...
That's true. Listen, there's been 100 movies where they killed an animal. It just so happens that the animals that they killed were not like everybody's favorites. Like, I mean, there's a bunch of, like in Creepshow, they killed roaches, probably thousands of them. You know, in Friday the 13th, they killed a snake. Nobody gives a shit about a snake. Like, but if you kill a turtle or a cat, which that's happened a couple of times in some of these fucking Japanese films, then that's it right there.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that sort of stuff's never going to happen ever again. But I mean, it was 43 years ago. So if I'm going to watch Cannibal Holocaust, I'm not going to watch a cut version of it. Now, that's not a movie that I go back and rewatch very often at all. But I'm going to watch the actual, you know, the actual Regina Diodato Director's Cut.
Douglas Clapper, go back and watch. I can't remember which documentary it was. It may have been Just Desserts, or it may be. They accidentally killed a shit ton of roaches. Like, it was just kind of an inevitability that they do that. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some roach destruction.
I'm sure they didn't intend on doing it. Who would win in a fight, Cool Duder or what?
Or who?
Or a sack of fucking shit?
The water buffalo in Apocalypse Now? No, that's a different guy.
Cool Duder or you fucking mammal? Who would win in a fight?
Pre-205 Live. They did.
Garrett! I forgot about that shit. He keeps saying in City Slickers when Norman is drowning. Yeah.
That's a movie.
That is a sad
I
scene.
haven't seen City Slickers in, like, God, I can't even remember. Kenny and Company Blu-ray. Don Coscarelli is very difficult to deal with. I mean, whatever that restoration, I mean, it's done on it. I don't know who he's going to go with. I'm willing to bet it's not going to be Well Go USA. After all the bullshit that's...
I hope not, man. That's like the worst release, like universally hated release that I think have ever come out of except for maybe Code Red.
Douglas Clapper, he loves these. Wife says hello. She would have joined, but she's cooking. Well, there's Tom Arnold, boys.
Holy shit.
$5 super chat. The house that Jack built or Salo.
Oh my God. That is
well,
God.
I would probably say the house that Jack built.
Me too. Like, I don't think I could ever watch Salo with anybody. I don't give a fuck who it was. Like, because they'd think you're insane.
Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you for the super chat, sir. Hawkins, what's going on in here? Did we get a super chat again? There we go. But yeah, it's always fun to do these shows for sure, and I'm sure we'll be having some more review shows at some point. We'll be doing the zombie show, which I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be, but it's going to be like the big zombie show, and we're still working on at least one interview for May of the Dead, possibly two, as it may work out that way if we can get the timing right on it. Both these people related to George A. Romero movies and the zombie genre for sure. So yeah, I saw that today. Ken Carlson, he mentioned that Kino struck a deal with Paramount. 65 films coming to Blu-ray. Hopefully we can get young Sherlock Holmes, A Simple Plan, and Nevada Smith.
I want Lightning Jack to come out. Does Paramount have that? I think they do.
Lightning Jack with Paul Hogan.
Exactly. Cuba Gooding Jr.
It's been a little while since I've seen that. Yeah, as far as Paramount movies, I can't really think of like a whole lot that they haven't brought out.
No, me either.
Eddie from Iron Maiden is a zombie. That's right. He is. But yeah, guys, I mean, I appreciate everybody joining us on here. Now, if you're watching this, we do these every month, at least one. I think we did 2 last month, these review shows that patrons request. And we've got a lot of reviews on the Patreon site that are not on YouTube at all that we've done. I made a list here, Uncle Bill. I prepared.
Okay.
So, including... What the hell did that pop up there? Including Last Night in Soho, Evil Bong, The Haunted World of El Super Beasto, Titane, Piranha 3 Double D, Fried Berry, 976 Evil, Uncut Gems, Strangers Pray at Night, The Fanatic, Veronica, tons more. There's a shit ton of fucking reviews on there, boys. And you can get access for like, what, the tiers start at just $1.
Wish I could go back in time and have somebody punch me into the ball sack before I watch Veronica. God.
What happened to Glenn Danzig's other movie? Wasn't it the vampire western thing that he was working on? It was out in theaters, I think, last year, and it never did come out on Blu-ray.
Hopefully somebody talked to him and was like, look, man, like, just stick to the singing shit. Don't try to make any more movies. It's not your thing.
Yeah, I mean, Danzig's first 3 albums is actually really, really good. I'll give him credit, but he can't make a fucking movie for shit.
No, he can't make a movie save his life.
So, does Garrett, do you really like El Super Beasto? Is cartoon titties kind of your thing?
That's one of the...
I'm not trying to guilt anybody into getting Patreon. I'm just shilling shit. That's just kind of what we do.
That's
Subjective, perspective, collective. Get all the way in the dead pit.
That's actually a pretty good tagline. See you using that for something. Get all the way in the dead pit.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Ooh, the super chats are freaking flowing, boys.
Oh.
Phantasm, $10 super chat. I'm a patron for about a year. And here's a little extra. Thanks for the reviews. Well, thank you, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
Sure. Anything else that you've got coming up, Uncle Bill? I know we're kind of doing a little bit of themed stuff for the next little bit.
I was thinking about this, right? Okay, so tell me what you think. Got 1 or 2 options here. Hold on, I'm getting choked up. I could either do, because they both kind of fit, Monday Night Saw, which is a new Saw film every week, or Monday Night Jaws, which is a new Jaws film every week.
It's entirely up to you. Monday Night Jaws would work, and you could just do it for like a month.
Right.
The only thing about Saw movies is it would be like the whole damn summer.
That's true. That would go on for so I'm curious, like which would be more kind of people would more like to see.
Yeah,
all
we
the
could
Jaws films.
Take a
all the
vote
Saw
here.
films.
There would be 4 Jaws movies and God damn, boys, how many fucking Saw movies are there? Like 9 or 10?
Fucking, I don't even know, man. Like if you include that newer stuff that's been coming out, probably at least that, yeah. Like with Spiral and the Jigsaw remake and all that.
Texas wants to know, and I was thinking about this today because a week from tonight is Vinegar Syndrome's halfway to Black Friday sale, where they're going to launch officially and start shipping it, the Thriller box set on 4K. So that may be a good time to drop the They Call Her Brown Eye shirt. Uncle Bill.
That's true. It's one of
'Cause
my favorite shirt ideas.
It's been down there waiting, just like Jason Voorhees, when it can be unleashed. Susie,
I'm glad that we could entertain you, and we'll see you back. You know, we do these shows every week, though. You don't have to wait a month. But if you're waiting like a month for the reviews, yeah, I can get that.
Yeah, that's true as far as the movie reviews, but there's also, subscribe here on the YouTubes and all that. Tons of reviews, and we've actually got almost 300 video reviews up there, Uncle Bill, which is fucking nuts.
So it looks to me, though, like most people would prefer to do Jaws.
Is it Monday Night Jaws?
Monday Night Jaws.
Well, there you go. That'll probably be a lot less painful than the Monday Night Saw, but you can save that for, some other month.
It just so happens that the original Jaws has got to be in my top 10 movies. It's one of those movies that no matter what I'm doing, if that movie comes on TV, like I watch the whole thing. Like, I just have to.
It's odd you mentioned that because last fall, but we never did watch it, I bought there's a Jaws 3-pack that has 2, 3, and 4 on Blu-ray. Part 3 is on Blu-ray 3D. So I was wanting to watch because they made all these movies like, what was it? Friday the 13th, Amityville, not Silent Rage, goddammit. The slasher movie. I can't remember. All those 3D movies came out around the same time, the same technology and all that. So I was really impressed with the Friday the 13th one. So I would like to check out Jaws 3D sometime this year.
And that's probably the one I've seen the least of any of them. Like, I probably haven't watched that movie in 15 years or something. So it'd be interesting to go back and see it.
Yeah. So, I guess that is it, guys. Again, a week from tonight, Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black Friday sale. It's a late night show. We start around 11:30, and we usually get a gigantic fucking crowd for the physical media stuff. Do you have a list made yet, Uncle Bill? What you gonna get, or you just kind of gonna wing
I pretty much know. Like, I mean, there's only going to be 3 or 4 titles that I get that are going to be half off because a lot of the stuff's not going to be included in that sale because it's too new. But I'll just wait because I know a lot of that shit ain't going to, like, stuff I'm looking to get is not going to sell out like for a long, long time.
Probably not. No, and they're making their limited editions are actually going up too, like the VSA titles, and the numbers are actually going up quite a bit on those. And then Severin has a sale coming up 2 weeks after that, so we'll probably be doing something for that too. So those are always a lot of fun. So definitely stick around for that.
I'd read that fucking sale because we ain't gonna be able to buy nothing that night.
Well, we may be able to sell some more Bad Gateway shirts that night. I'll put that featured on there. But Champagne and Bullets, man, you're gonna have to pay for it if you want it because that thing's going for pretty decent money, and it's totally worth it. By the way,
it is. Holy shit, is that movie worth it? Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I guess that is it for the show. We appreciate everybody tuning in. And again, if you like this sort of thing, there's all the archives of the weekly Patreon shows are up there on Patreon, and the review shows, the midweek podcasts, tons of shit. Right?
I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
I'm fucking pumped up and ready to kill somebody.
Oh yeah, one other thing too. Embroidered baseball caps are coming soon. And there's a limited number of them, and they're only available, well, they're going to be available first to people on Patreon because, there's just a few of them available. We'll see if they sell.
Ooh, daddy.
That'll be probably coming the next couple of weeks. Anyway, I'm the Creepy Kentuckian.
I'm Uncle Bill.
Thank you for checking us out. Check us out again at Dead Pit on Patreon and deadpit.com. I'm on break some shit. Give us the thumbs up.
Tear stop you, butts.
Like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a If you do it
I
all.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to touch nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you
Yeah.
dare touch it.
Thumbs up. Subscribe. And click that bell.
For this video officially, it's Old Curly Jaws has a message for you. Go on over to shop.deadpit.com and go look at their Teen Public store right now. You got some new shirts like the Old Curly Jaws official t-shirt, which is brutal and badass. You got the Yummy Gummy shirt with the captain himself on the shirt. You got Uncle Bill's face on a fucking shirt. You got the Final Girl shirt. You got all these shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Get them before they're all out, especially the new one, Bedtime 1039. It doesn't get better than that, so go on out. Check out these shirts at shop.deadpit.com. Go look at their Teen Public store. You're going to have a good old time. Get them all!
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.